So I began removing parts and gutting them and all that stuff, and I finally did my first modification with this kit, and that is of course putting a poly cap right here, as you can see where this is. This was easy to do. All I needed to do was cut this part, and I was using a saw blade from Tamiya. This one started to bend, of course, but when you do these little saws, you gotta make sure you do it in motion like that, not like that, because you end up bending, and I made a mistake. But regardless of the case, I was able to complete it, and I cut this to size where it can fit into this, and using tight glue, it's nicely tight in there, so it's done. And just to test it out that it works, there we go. And of course, it may come off. There we go. But that's fine. I'll probably put more glue in there to reinforce it a bit. So that section is fine. Just wanted to show that off. Now the thing that I'm trying to figure out is this. Now clearly by removing this, this goes there, and that's no problem. But the thing is though, it's too loosey-goosey, as you can see. And putting the back part here, let's put it back to the way it was. Actually, we're going to remove these because we're probably going to end up using the pegs that's in there. Like that. So, yeah, I know that this one, the orientation is not going to be right with this. And I could probably cut this, replace it with this, but then I have to shorten this a bit so it can be there, but I may end up losing the structure integrity of this. I found this part amongst the other excessive parts that came with the what do you call it, the Mark II backpack. And I think if I do this, let's see, let's put this back to the way it was, like that. And then we put this one here. The hole is there as a guide, so I can definitely Loctite this thing and then put it in here. Still too wobbly and too high. No, this can't be used. I could probably cut these parts here and this one and sand it down so it has a nice it can go around nicely. Hold on, let me just put this back to the way it was, because what's causing it to not stick is this. But then again, you know what, let me just remove this again. It's still too loose. And it's not long enough. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a point where it can connect to it, and maybe find a poly cap that's strong enough to hold it in. Maybe the ball cap idea is a good idea. Let me see. The problem is with the ball cap, let's see, that as far as it goes. And then I would have to remove, oh that's right, let's remove that, because we don't need that there. Just put it down. maybe this is an interesting idea. I could probably increase the size a bit. Where's the other hole for that? No. Was it this one? It was this one. Oh yeah, so I'll have to get the hole somewhere around the same diameter as this. Okay, I think I can do that for this. So let me figure this out, and we'll move forward. All right, so I was going to put this in the backpack, in the back of the ball, but since the clearance was not good, I decided to put it here. And at first I was making some holes, drilling some holes, and because there was that peg here that you can put through. Problem is though, I kept on hitting this area here on the edge, and since the ball's width and diameter kept on hitting it, I didn't want it to bend it in a specific angle. I wanted to keep it perfect in center line. So I took these two things off of this part and put this here, as you can see where it's connected, and I'm using these as thrusters. That's kind of a lot better than the other one. I like that one, this one better. Don't know if I'm going to leave it this way or maybe flip it around and do it the other way like this. I haven't thought of it yet. I did cut some areas here thinking that maybe that would help, but now after seeing that, I'm going to have to cover it up with a plate or some other part. I have a lot of parts, of course. So here's a test fit of what it looks like, and if I put the cannons on it, it would look like this. Again, that stupid little notch is there, so it aligns it like this. So for it to fire its guns, it has to like be in a specific angle to fire it. Clearly that's not going to be done like that. I'm going to remove that notch here so it's easy for me to turn it around and fire it, or position it in a way where it could fire. Let's get the other one so we can show it off. This one's so loose, I don't know why. Keep it like that for now. It's kind of neat like that, even without the ball. Now, these two have been test fitted, as you can see, and they turn very nice. I removed the cover here thinking that maybe I could do something there, like for example the blade here can be placed here. I think that's a little too much though. I kind of like it though, really do. I haven't thought of, maybe I should leave it that. Kind of maybe end up leaving it like this. And also this part was the one that I was kind of a little disappointed, because alright, so if I do these two like this, let's put it back together again. I could probably put it like this, but it doesn't feel right, because then it looks like doesn't look correct. I could probably drill holes and put it here for this, but then I don't know. Put it in this angle. Probably a good idea like that. I like that way. Oh yeah, then I'll do it this way because I like this in this angle. Actually, I gotta cut this part here so it's nice and sharp, and so I will definitely have to align the holes here. I'll cover that up with something else, and then I'll put something here. Maybe the wings. Yeah, hold on. Put the wings like that. Now I like it this way. I don't like the reverse way. Like that. I think that's good. And you can angle and all that stuff. And then I want to put a different... I've removed the thruster pod here, but I'm going to put probably a different thruster pod. Let's see how this looks with this on, because I put a lot of crazy glue on this and it finally dried after a few hours. Not crazy glue, Loctite. Alright, so we go there. There we go. And then of course his arms will bend to hold the weaponry like this. And there you go. That's cool. I like that. I really do. And I'm liking how the fact that these things come off easily, but I may end up gluing them regardless of the case. And then that one would go there like so. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Alright. I kind of like that. Now, I have to find something to put these two together to form an umbilical to wrap around here and here. I know I have something. I don't want to keep this glued on because I think the inside there's a little bit of super glue in there, and I don't want it for it to be stuck. But yeah, this is starting to come out really nice. Now I'm starting to flesh it out a bit more. So let me figure this out. Let me clean that up, and then of course do the alignment here. Get the right center for this, so I can drill some holes in the angle that it's supposed to be, and then put them on. I don't want to glue them on. I want to put it in so that I can take it out and paint it separate. This one's already glued on, so there's nothing I can do. That's going to be painted separate as well. But I mean, painted as a one part there. But this one, I want to keep it separate so I can pop it out and put it back in so I can glue it on. Alright? So far, so good. And here it is. I think we got a winner, so to speak. Yeah, this is not bad. Not bad at all. It would be better if this thing didn't fall off. But that could change with some glue and paint. But stay right there while I show this off. So here it is. I would say I'm 99% done with customizing because I'm still figuring out what to put on the side since those little holes are there. But I think I may end up just covering it up with these little notches. I don't think that it needs anything, and it's going to look weird to have weaponry under the armpit. No, I think this is fun. This is fine for what it is. But I was able to figure out a lot of things here. So let me take this off so you guys can see this, because in essence this ball can be removed and have everything removed except for this part here, which I use as a guide for the cap that I put in here, and it's being held up by super glue. For this here on the top, which I'm going to take off, because at first I said I was going to drill 2 holes there, but then I didn't feel like drilling it. Not because I didn't want to. I could figure out the depth, the orientation, and all that stuff. And then I said, oh wait a minute, there's this hole here, and that's going to be left alone. Obviously, I can put a peg there to cover it up. But for this, I said, you know what? Why not do that and put it right there? And sure enough, it came out right. I cut some styrene sheets here to make it like a guide to hold the sides and then the back. And then for these little, then I covered it up and glued it up and glued this one here super glued, so that's fine. Now for this, which I'm going to take off, I actually took some of the sprues from other kits, because it was a good dimension size to fit into this hole. Just it took a long time to get into this hole, so I kind of sanded it down, scrunched it a bit to make it a little tight fit to it, and then I super glued it so that way this can turn and it's nice and tight. Then back here, gave it a thruster and a vent, as you can see here. Put the vent, put these vents here that I really love to get more. I didn't put the actual vents detail inside because I'm going to paint that separate on a cardboard. reversible tape. And then once they're painted, I'll just stick them in. This one I can actually remove and paint it separate, but that one I cannot, because that was glued on. And then of course this will perfectly go here, like so. So it's like a mohawk blade type setup. I kind of like that. I may end up putting something there, but connecting to this, because I don't want nothing to be scratching up the ball, because that kind of looks stupid. So I gotta find something in my inventory. I have a lot of leftover parts here. Then we move to here. Put some detail parts there. That's actually the part of the waist unit, or the back skirt of the Gucci rebake from. I don't know if it's from the rebake or from another kit, but that's from that, and I cut that, and I was originally going to put it up front. Then I found this. This is the leftover parts from the GM Command build, so I put that here. That's also from GM Command, put the little vent there, so it's in a nice little angle for the ball to not hit anything. I'm going to have to cover that up. That looks stupid. I have leftover plastic styrene sheets, so I'll cover that up soon enough. I put this thing in an angle like this, so that way these vents are there, but I don't have no detail parts to put in there. I'm thinking, well, I was originally going to take these and put that there, but then they were too thick, so I put it here on the leg. I may end up putting something on the side on this one. I'm not 200% sure yet. Then I put the wings here, and I put these here as like little vents, little like not vents. Sorry, what do you call it? Ailerons. Yeah, there you go. For the guns here, what I did was, and I'm going to take this off, I nubbed that off. I cut it off with the hobby knife. Then, because this thing was not tight enough, it was too loose, I was saying to myself, how am I going to do this for this thing to stay into place? Because I'm also still thinking of what to do with detailing the guns as well, give it a little more detail. I have an idea, but I haven't fleshed that out yet. But for this, I took this, you know, and then I took the little peg there, and I just slightly crushed it a bit. And when you crush something, obviously, it'll flatten, but then it'll widen. And that gave it enough, how can I say this in a way, torque, you could say, or enough widthness to increase it and allow it to hold the guns up in this position. And that's pretty much it. Put this back here. There we go. And there you go. Yep. And that's going to annoy me, but we'll figure it out. There was like a notch here to hold on to this. And I didn't realize that some of these this high mach weapons can be used for master grade kits, because the actual connections are a little wider in specific areas, and the manual actually refers to it as you could use it on 1/100 scale kits, like, you know, like the IBO kits or master grade kits, which I was a bit surprised that you can actually do that. I'm actually kind of pissed at the fact that I actually used these two for this, and I could have used it here as like two little you know, metal deflecting plates, something that you see on anti-aircraft guns, or like the Sturmfaust bazooka that's on the like here, an example, and I have it actually right here, because I was gonna actually gut this for this build, but I said no. Give me a second, because this whole thing fell apart on me. Yay, it fell apart. Great. Give me that. I was referring to this little plate here. Do something like that as well. And one of the parts fell on the floor, so I gotta find it, put it away, because I'm not I'm not going to lose that part. But anyhow, what do you think? And because I kind of figure I finally got a name for my custom, and thanks to Prime92, because I always show her stuff that I make, and I go, I can't figure out a cool name, and she just says, well, just call it this. Call it the Hiro. You know, Heimak, Haro, call it the Hiro. So this is now the Hiro Custom. And I'm going to now clean up a little bit more. I was thinking of putting something up front, but I haven't found anything yet. I think I found something, but I have to work on it. I'm going to leave that alone. I think I'm done with that. There was these little holes here, but I don't think I'm going to put nothing there because I don't want to ruin the stability of this of the kit. But I will do some detailing somewhere around the legs, maybe with some styrene sheets. And I think that's pretty much it. Give me some time to clean up everything, so that way I can begin priming it, and then we'll think about what we will paint this kit and turn it into.